Hello again, this is Dr. Kalam with your third lecture, mini lecture in week one. And in this mini lecture, I'm going to be talking about strategic human resource management. And in particular, we're going to discuss human resources in terms of fitting in with an organization's plans to execute maybe a new strategy. So we're going to define strategic human resource management, and I'll provide a few examples of strategic human resource management in practice. So first question we have to ask ourselves, what is human resource management? And to answer that question, we need to kind of look at how HR managers formulate and execute HR policies and practices that produce employees that are competent and have the types of behaviors that the company needs to move forward with its strategic plan. And in your text, it talks about, it gives a couple of examples, and one example in particular would be comparing for Walmart with Neiman Marcus, for example. So, so when we compare the two, we can easily see that HR strategies, corporate strategies, in terms of employee competencies and behaviors would be quite different across those two domains. Those particular organizations don't necessarily compete with each other. But let's take a different example and say we had two competing organizations. Let's say Walmart and Amazon. Now, it might seem a stretch that Walmart and Amazon are competing, since they're both they're in different segments of their markets. However, Walmart recently went into a competition mode with Amazon. They decided to ramp up their IT and begin to compete in that virtual market, and I'm not sure how successful they were, but you can imagine that when they built the strategy, the organization decided, Walmart executives decided, and HR was a crucial part of that, that we're going to build this competency in this particular segment of our market. So strategically, they needed to meet certain expectations, and technology was one, obviously, but people to support that technology was another crucial aspect there. They needed people behind the scenes to work computers and work their magic on these other things that were important to compete with Amazon's prowess in that market. So HR would then ramp up, change, modify, adapt new hiring policies, look at job descriptions, look at compensation rates, and build an HR strategy, competitive strategy or strategic plan that would support the organization's move into that market. So, as you know, strategic HR management or human resource management means formulating and executing human resource policies that produce employees who are competent and have the right behaviors for them to compete and achieve their strategic organization's strategic aims. Another important concept in HR strategic planning is to improve performance. And improving performance would see HR as a profit center. And what that means is HR now looks at a competitive nature, maybe competing for employees, going into certain competitive markets where employees or people, staff are difficult to obtain. So we look at from a profit motive. Sustainability and strategic human resource management is another really important concept. How do HR managers and executives build strategic posture in their department so that strategic plans in an organization at the top level, maybe 2, 3, 5 years out, are supported through HR strategic management practices. Today's emphasis on sustainability has consequences for HR managers. HR policies and practices must support a firm's sustainability and the strategy and their goals. Okay, strategic management tools. There are several in your text. One of them is a strategy map. A strategy map is a pictorial picture of relationships that occur in different parts of the organization. And in an HR department, the strategy map is crucial to identify where HR interventions, HR strategy needs to align with different levels of activity leading to the ultimate goals in a particular organization. And an HR scorecard simply is not literally a scorecard, but it's a level of activity that rates and creates metrics to measure how the strategy map or put the strategy map into life by creating metrics for each or several components of that where the interconnectedness happens in a strategy. And finally, there's another important tool that HR managers use. It's a digital dashboard, which presents the manager with a desktop graphics and charts that shows particular relationships. It presents a computerized picture of how the company is doing on all metrics from the HR scorecard process. So as you can see, strategic HR management is a crucial part of the organization's strategic planning process, and they fit in and more so than many departments, they fit in from the beginning to the end of a strategic management process. Sustainability is a crucial aspect of that strategic management process. So this is the end of this brief lecture. So in upcoming mini lectures, we'll go on to chapter 2 or week 2 of your HR management course. So I hope you enjoyed this week, and stay tuned for week 2.